So pag-usapan ngayon natin itong ironclad commitment daw ng US sa Pilipinas. So nasa Amerika nga ngayon si PBBM no para pag-usapan ang mga detalye ng marami, Mutual Defense Treaty, yung mga commitments sa economy, etc. etc. Ito ngayon. So nasa US siya ngayon. USPH tackle 21st century challenges as closest of allies. Diyos ko, ito. But anyway, bago natin na pag-usapan yan, mag-shoutout muna tayo sa mga kaibigan natin sa Sendwave. Okay. So kung kayo po ay nasa US, UK, Canada, Italy, France, Spain, Ireland, and Belgium, ay pwede na po kayo magpadala sa Sendwave ng wala pong remittance fees, mga kutsero, no? Diretso po yan sa Pilipinas. Napakaganda po niyan. Ang gagawin nyo lamang ay i-download ng Sendwave app. Okay? Pag-download nyo po ng Sendwave app, mga kutsero, i-register nyo yung bank account details at pwede na po kayo magpadala sa GCash, Cash Pickup, at iba't ibang mga bangko sa Pilipinas. At mga kutsero, no, sa inyo pong unang padala. Huwag niyo pong kalimutan, mga kutsero, sa una niyong padala. Kapag ginamit niyo po si Sendwave, gamitin niyo na rin po yung aking promo code na Coach Jarret para makakuha po kayo ng $10 free credit. So, ayan po mga kutsero, no? Gamitin niyo na po yung Sendwave for all of your remittance needs. Huwag niyo pong kalimutan, wala ho yung remittance fees. Ito na nga. So, President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. and United States President Joseph Biden, or Joe, on Monday, committed to strengthen the long-standing U.S.-Philippines alliance, particularly in terms of deepening military and economic cooperation. In a joint statement, Marcos and Biden announced a number of new arrangements and initiatives to expand on the historic momentum in US-Philippine relations, which are defined by remarkable ties of friendship, community, and shared sacrifice. Dapat siguruhin nyo yung shared, Kaya sana yung pag sinabing shared sacrifice, hindi lang to token comment, no? Yung ano lang, pabulaklak lang ba? Pag sinabing shared sacrifice, sana totoong shared. Yung kami lang. Alam nyo, nakakatawa dito. Merong parte na nakakatawa dito sa biyahe ni PBBM sa Amerika. Nagwala na naman ang mga aktivista. Nakakahiya talaga kayo kahit saan kayo mapunta. Una, dinaan sa dyaryo. Biden courts son of Philippine dictator he once opposed. Ay, grabe. Nang intriga pa talaga. Philippine President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. is set to meet President Biden at the White House on Monday. The visit comes just 3 months after the United States secured access to 4 key military bases in the Philippines, a deal hailed as a major step in Washington's bid to counter China in the region. Okay. Tapos biglang ganito. Washington's embrace of Marcos Jr., the son of late dictator Ferdinand E. Marcos, who ruled for 2 decades, who have seemed far-fetched only a year ago. Before his election last May, it was unclear whether he would be able to set foot in the United States. Marcos Jr. faces a contempt order in a class action lawsuit related to unpaid damages for human rights violations under his father's rule. Na-debunk na po natin yan, mga kotsero. Nakwento na natin yan. Ngayon, mga kotsero, in-interview ng Washington Post si Ruben Carranza. This is where Marcos and US interest overlap. Sabi, doon daw sa US bases. The US needs Marcos Jr. as a doorman to hold the door open for US forces, he said. On the other hand, Marcos needs the US in order to stay in power, to curb the ambitions of any military faction being courted by competing political dynasties, to maintain the diplomatic immunity that allows him to re-enter the US. Ay, ang babo mag-isip. Kamusta naman yung political analysis mo na yan? Alam nyo, ito mga camping, ganyan sila mag-isip. Yung mga assumption nila, yung mga kahibangan nila, they take it as fact. Tingnan nyo kung anong kalokohan meron to Ruben Carranza na to. Sabi niya, the US needs Marcos Jr. as a doorman to hold the door open for US forces. Parang gigil na gigil sa Amerika. Nasaan siya nagtatrabaho ngayon sa Amerika? Hypocrites ang tawag dyan. Sasabihin niya, kailangan ng kailangan ng Marcoses ang US para magpatuloy sila sa pagiging hari-harian sa Pilipinas. Huy, Ruben Carranza, hindi sila hari-harian. Democratically elected sila. Tandaan na, alala mo, natalo si Lenny. Talo, tambak, 15 million. Democratically elected yan. Hindi yan hari-harian. Political dynasties ka dyan. Tingnan mo nga yung idol nyo, si Cory Aquino. Pamilya ng political dynasty, hindi lang simula Tarlac hanggang Malacanang, pamilya ng political dynasty. Tapos ito pa. Meron nag-rally, Marcos not welcome in US, sabi ng mga nagpo-protesta. Paano hindi welcome? Ang unang-unang sinabi ni Joe Biden, Welcome to the White House. Nakakahiya kayo. Di ba? Ito mga aktivista na to. Sabi nila, hindi welcome si Marcos sa Amerika. Tapos sabi ni Biden kay Marcos, kay President Bongbong Marcos, welcome to the White House. Ang bilis mapagod, te. alam niyo, alam niyo the irony of this? Alam niyo yung irony nitong rally na to? Ano sasabi nila? Marcos, tuta, diktador, pasista. Eh sila yung nasa Amerika eh. Tuta si President Bongbong Marcos ng Amerika. Sinong nakatira sa Amerika? Diyos ko. So essentially, social. Ang weird pakinggan nung chant. Pag sa Pilipinas kasi di ba sabihin, never again to martial law. Sa Pilipinas ganun. Never again to martial law. Sa kanila, never again to martial law. Ito bang wait lang ito bang mga puti na to? Alam na nila yung pinagsasabi nila. Anyway, so ito na. O game. Panoorin ngayon natin yung pagkaharap ni President Bongbong Marcos at ni Sleepy Joe Sleepy Joe Biden. Welcome to the White House.
Call a professional. Welcome. That's true. They know too much about all of us.
Ito lagi may gantong shot no? Pag nasa White House, yung naglalakad sa mga pillars.
Well, Mr. President, welcome back to the White House. We're talking the way over. It's been a while since you've been here.
Yes, sir.
You're here with President Reagan and your father, and we welcome you back. And, when we met in New York last year, you told me that a strong alliance has to continue, quote, using your phrase, to evolve as we face the challenges of this new century. And we are facing new challenges. And I can't think of any better partner to have than you. I couldn't agree more that we have to face it has to continue to evolve. And together, we're tackling climate change. We're accelerating our country's transition to clean energy. And we're standing up for our shared democratic values and workers' rights and the rule of law. And together, we're deepening our economic cooperation, which is going to continue to deepen. I think it's mutually beneficial. And we're going to announce today that I'm sending a first of its kind presidential trade and investment mission to the Philippines. We talked about that very briefly up in New York. The United States also remains ironclad in our commitment to the defense of the Philippines, including the South China Sea, and we're going to continue to support the Philippines military modernization goals. Mr. President, our countries not only share a strong partnership, we share a deep friendship, one that has been enriched by millions of Filipino Americans and the communities all across the United States. So I want to thank you again for being here. I look forward to our conversation today, and I invite you to make any comments you'd like. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. And as you say, in the difficult times that we are facing ahead of us, we need to find many ways to strengthen our alliances and our partnership in the face of the new economy that we are facing post-pandemic. Beyond that, there are also the issues, geopolitical issues that have made the region where the Philippines is possibly, arguably, the most complicated geopolitical situation in the world right now. And so it is only natural that for the Philippines to look to its sole treaty partner in the world, to strengthen and to redefine the relationship that we have and the roles that we play in the face of those rising tensions that we see now around the South China Sea and Asia Pacific and Indo Pacific region. So I welcome very much the opportunity to come here, to visit with you at the White House and to discuss all these terribly important issues. We have many things that are new, that need to be assessed, and again, our role as partners in the world, in our worldview of what we are hoping for the future of peace, not only in the Asia Pacific and in the Pacific region, but in the whole world. So, thank you once again for this opportunity.
Thank you, and I'm optimistic.
Thank you. Sir.
Thank you.
So, ano ba talaga yung laman yan? Ano ba yung pinrami sa atin ng Amerika? Nakasulat na po ngayon yan sa press statement ng White House mismo. Website po ito ng The White House. Ito yung kanilang ipinangako. At the White House, President Biden and President Marcos advanced an ambitious agenda for the U.S.-Philippine alliance and celebrated the tremendous momentum now animating bilateral efforts to advance prosperity, security, and friendship among our people. O ngayon, ayan, ironclad commitment daw eh. Reaffirm the United States ironclad commitment to the defense of the Philippines, and the leaders discussed efforts to strengthen the long-standing US-Philippine alliance. So, di ba mga kutsero, lagi ko pong sinasabi sa inyo, kung merong mga manliligaw na bansa sa atin, dapat alamin natin kung ano ino-offer nila. Ano ba yung kanilang ipinangako? Eto, bilateral defense guidelines. So, apparently, mukhang pag-aaralan muli ang Mutual Defense Treaty. The United States and the Philippines are adopting bilateral defense guidelines that institutionalize key bilateral priorities, mechanisms, and processes to deepen alliance cooperation and interoperability across land, sea, airspace, and cyberspace. Or kung hindi man ito kundi ito revision ng MDT, baka ito ay yung parang implementing rules and regulations. Parang gano'n. Ito rin po yung sinasabi ni Senator Amy dati, noong nakaraan, na parang sinasabi ni Richard Hidarian, kontra daw si Senator Amy sa pagkiling ng Pilipinas sa Amerika. No, hindi. No na, hindi pa. Ganun katindi. Hindi, hindi ho siya kontra. In fact, ang gusto lang ho niyang gawin, magkaroon ng kalinawan yung MDT at EDCA. Alamin natin, ano ba yung mga implementing rules niyan? Pero feeling ko yung EDCA marirevise kasi mag-expire na yung next year. Enhancing the capabilities of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. So the United States intends to transfer to the Armed Forces of the Philippines or AFP 2 Island-class patrol vessels, 2 Protector-class patrol vessels, and 3 C-130 aircraft pending applicable congressional notification requirements. Siyempre, kailangan muna ng, ito yung sinasabi sa MDT, yung congressional approval. Ayan. Siyempre, kailangan yan sa side nila. Additionally, 2 Cyclone-class coastal patrol vessels were transferred to the Philippines in late April and are now en route to Manila. These transfers will support the ARM AFP modernization program by enhancing its maritime and tactical lift capability. So, sana hindi to one time, big time lang. Pero syempre, kasi dahil matatapos na yung term ni Biden next year, baka ito na muna. EDCA sites driving sustainable development and investment in local communities. So, the United States is working closely with communities in the vicinity of the EDCA sites to fully realize their positive value for local development and for humanitarian assistance and disaster relief. To that end, the United States will expand our work in these communities and areas to support health, education, environmental protection, economic growth, and disaster preparedness. So, hindi pa natin alam kung ano ibig sabihin yan. Medyo malabo. Ano yung pag sinabi mong sustainable development and investment? Ano pong ibig sabihin nun, US? What do you mean? Kailangan natin muna malaman what that means. What sustainable development and investment. Sa economy naman, economic cooperation, promoting investment, innovation, and inclusive prosperity. What does that mean? All regions of the Philippines benefit from U.S. investment, and employees of U.S. companies in the Philippines earn annual wages that are above that are 50% above the average family's income, which is more or less true. Kasi magkano ba ang minimum wage ngayon? 15,000, 20,000. Kapag nag-work ka sa isang US company, let's say call center, most probably ang sasahurin mo mga nasa 30 to 40K. So more or less 50K, 50% ka. US Business Services company Concentric, see, BPO nga, is the Philippines' largest private sector employer, while US investment from KKR invested $1 billion in Philippine telecom infrastructure in 2022 alone, and US technology companies such as Texas Instruments, onsemi, Amcor, and Analog Devices have invested hundreds of millions of dollars in the Philippine semiconductor manufacturing ecosystem. Actually, totoo, si Texas Instruments nasa ano to eh, may bandang Clark. So, ano pa raw yung kanilang i-contribute? Presidential Trade and Investment Mission. So, what does that mean? Essentially po, pupunta po sa Pilipinas ang mga negosyante at iba't ibang representante ng sektor ng Amerika sa Pilipinas para maghanap ng pwede nilang negosyohin sa Pilipinas. Yun po ang Trade and Investment Mission. May balita kasi na nakipag-usap si President Bongbong Marcos sa NuScale Power Corporation. The said company offers small modular reactor, a compact and practical nuclear reactor that can be deployed in far-flung areas. So baka mag-i-invest dito si NuScale ng mga power plants, which I think is desperately needed. Alam nyo naman si Mindoro recently, medyo naayos na si Mindoro. Ngayon, nababalitaan ko, kwento sa akin ni Takero recently, Iloilo naman daw nagkakaproblema sa kuryente. Actually, importante to. Clean energy transition, ito mining. Kaya dito ho sa Pilipinas, ang minimina po ni China sa Pilipinas yung nickel. So dahil nickel rich ang Pilipinas, marami po ngayon ang gustong magmina ng nickel. Bakit? Kasi nauuso na ang EV or electric vehicles. At nickel po ang isa sa mga parts na ginagamit nila para gawin yung baterya. And food security. So this is agriculture. The Presidential Trade and Investment Mission will feature the highest caliber of US business leaders. Ang sabi. Sana sana hindi katulad nun sa China. Kasi, pero si USTDA will launch a new sustainable infrastructure activities intended to leverage over 3 billion in public and private financing to strengthen the Philippines' critical mineral supply chains, smart grid technologies and clean energy solutions, promote secure 5G deployment, strengthen airport security and maritime safety, and support healthcare infrastructures across the Philippines. So, expanding US-Philippine air transportation, ang dami pala, no? Space cooperation. The United States and the Philippines will strengthen bilateral cooperation on space, situational awareness, and the use of space for maritime domain awareness, including the first ever US-Philippine Civil Space Dialogue, and the Philippines will collaborate on the use of space-based technology. Hindi lang po ito space pero mga nakatutok to sa sea at sa airspace. Investing in the next generation Philippine leaders, the US government is on track to provide $70 million to support more than 2,000 exchange participants between the Philippines and the United States over the next 10 years. This investment will allow for an expansion of the Fulbright Program, International Visitor Leadership Program, Philippine Youth Leadership Program, and Young Southeast Asian Leaders Initiative. Ang dami, mga scholarships pala to. This represents one of the US government's largest long-term people-to-people commitments globally. Ang dami. Establishment of a US-Philippine Labor Working Group. Medyo mabigat to. Green energy auctions. USAID will partner with the Philippines DOE to conduct the Philippines' second round of green energy auctions, bidding out a combined 11.6 gigawatt of solar, onshore wind, biomass, and waste-to-energy capacity to be installed from 2024 to 2026, representing nearly half the country's current energy capacity. Pero ano siya? This is a solar, onshore, biomass, so nuclear to. Waste to energy, nuclear din to, di ba? Waste to energy. So, anyway, ato yung nuclear energy. Kaya pala nila kinausap yung si NuScale. As the United States and the Philippines continue to develop a civil nuclear cooperation agreement, the United States will provide capacity building support through the Foundational Infrastructure for Responsible Use of Small Modular Reactor Technology FIRST program, which will help the Philippines develop a national civil nuclear engineering workforce. Sana magkaroon tayo ng ng dollar value kung magkano yung total niyan. Di ba? Si Ayala nakaisa na. Ayala partners with US firm Zero for $250 million e-motorcycle factory. In fairness, mga electric superbikes, 187 miles. Top speed niya, 124 miles. May ganito pala. Iniisip ko kanina, electric motorcycle, yung mga parang nakikita na, legit pala na motor. Sa isang charge, hanggang 300 kilometers ang kaya niya. Sa isang charge. Matindi pala to. 1 hour ang charge, up to 187 miles. So kapag kinonvert mo to kilometers, 300 kilometers. Up to 124 miles per hour. Mabilis yan ha. 124 miles per hour times 2.2 yan eh. 124 mph. Kilometers per hour. Oh, 200 kilometers. 200 kilometers, guys. Eh, yung mga nabibili nating motor ngayon na mga tag 50,000, hindi umaabot. Hanggang 140, 150 lang yun, sagad. Umiiyak pa makina na. Di ba? Umiiyak pa makina nun. Pero tindi, no? 300 kilometers. Saan yun? Simula Manila hanggang... Kaya yun. Kasi ang alam ko, Manila to Baguio, that's around 150 to 200 kilometers. Eh. Manila to Baguio. So, more or less, di ba? Anyway. Ang tanong, kung fully electric ba to? Fully electric kaya to? Ganda ng mga motor nila in fairness. Pero ano lang, medyo parang pwede pang pagandahin to. Kung tutuusin. Pwede pa. Pwede pang pagandahin to. Pero ito yung gusto ko. Ito. Itong pangalawa. Yan. Ito. Ito masyadong mukhang Ducati. Ayoko na mukhang Ducati. Ito mukhang Ducati rin, pero hindi masyadong halata. Yan. Ito, depende rin pala sa model. 89 miles naman tong isa. Yung S. 0S. Tapos ang usapan dito, paano to? Walang CC to. Wala tong 400cc, 800cc, 1200cc. Walang ganun. Kasi electric siya. So paano? Kasi wala siyang engine display. Wala eh. Wala siyang engine displacement, guys. Kasi fully electric siya. So paano sa expressway? Na naisip ko lang, mga ano, rich people problems. Hindi natin usually maiisip yan eh. Pero 'di ba paano pag pumasok ka ng highway? Syempre tatanungin ka, "Sir, ano pong CC niyan?" Kasi syempre hindi familiar, hindi mo ang ano eh. Ano pong CC niyan? Ay, electric po eh. Wala ho itong makina eh. Ang makina ho ito, kuryente. Walang displacement. Anyway. Kilowatt ang rating. Kailangan mag-a-adjust tayo sa rules and regulations natin dito. Pag napasok yan. But anyway, going back, medyo napatagal ako dito. Magkakaroon sila dito. Dito gagawin, sa Binyan. Swerte ng mga taga Laguna. Ang lapit. Okay, anyway. So kung magkakaroon to ng local market, malamang sa malamang, mas mura to ibebenta sa Pilipinas kasi dito ginawa. But let's see, syempre. Malamang ang uunahin dyan yung for import, di ba? Yung ibebenta sa Thailand, ibebenta sa Vietnam, ibebenta sa Indonesia, sa Malaysia, yun ang uunahin dyan. Tapos meron pang isang niluluto. Yun nga, yung kay, what do you call this? New Scale Power Corporation. Ayan, may niluluto pang isa. From construction hanggang operation, trabaho yan. Maikinabang ang Pilipino dyan. Anyway, hanggang dyan lang po muna tayo. Okay, so hanggang dyan lang po muna tayo mga Coachero. No, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you in our next Coach Jarret Live, right? Bye everyone. See you next time. Bye.